Thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Well, yeah, fantastic. Tell us, what are you working on? I hear you've got something really exciting happening right now.
I have. I've been working with men, Craig, for many, many years now, coming up to 15 years, and in different environments, but mainly helping men with sort of moving forward in life after a divorce. That was some relationship stuff that I was doing years ago. And over the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working really, really hard on and learning lots of new information about how the mind works and the relationship between the conscious and the subconscious mind, and how the two actually either work together or don't work too well together for people, specifically for men, because we find that men these days have a lot of this pressure on them to provide for a family and to perform and to be successful, as we see out there. And I find a lot of men are actually struggling with that because there's so much pressure on their shoulders that they kind of lose focus, and they're very much out of alignment with who it is that they want to be and what they want to be achieving, and how that actually looks. You can relate, can you? I might just take my glasses off. You can relate, can you?
Absolutely, I can relate to this. 2 years ago, I was in the IT industry, and
oh wow, okay.
30 years in project management, solutions architecture, and now I'm totally in the property arena working with great people. So yes, I totally relate to that.
And look, the trajectory of our life can actually change dramatically when we step up and we start to live in more alignment with who it is that we are as a person, and our passions and what we feel our purpose is. And a lot of that's actually got to do with the intention that we put into stuff as well. And that's part of my story over the last year or so, is that for about 15 years, I've been in the finance and property industry. And this is how we met, through the Property Profits Network too. And whilst that was all great, what I found, and I love property, nothing wrong with property, and I'll still be doing property and property investment, but my focus now has shifted a lot back into coaching and mentoring, because that's a lot more in alignment with who I am as a person and how much value I can actually offer people at a high level. And so what my, I guess, realignment has been over the last couple of months really is really realising that whilst I can offer a good service with property, I can offer a service at a much higher level to people within coaching. And so that really motivated me to reflect on, what is it as a man, what have I struggled with in the past, and what do I struggle with sometimes, and what have I identified through conversations with other men and coaching other men as well within relationships and individually, that they really struggle with. And this what I've done with this new course that I've created called The Razor's Edge is really zero in on where men feel like life is just a struggle, because the men that I've spoken with they're in debt. A lot of them are in debt, and they work really, really, really hard to make whatever money they can make. And then once that money comes in, it's straight out again. And then they get themselves into this cycle of chasing money, earning money, spending money, and they never actually feel very secure. And they don't actually feel like they're providing for their family at a very high level. So when I identified this, I really started to, and I identified this years ago, by the way, and I went through my own struggle with this too in the past. And sometimes even now, I think we'd be lying if us average folk didn't say that sometimes there was times in our lives where we, focus a little bit more on money than probably we should, and our intentions might be a little bit off in terms of where we're reaching for and why we're doing what we're doing. And that's what I found in property. I found that whilst I enjoy property and I do have a passion for it, it's not my driving force. It's not what gets me up in the morning. It's really just, I was doing that for money, I guess. And what I found was that whilst I was offering a good service, it wasn't the service at the high level that I wanted to, that I can through coaching. And so this is why I created this, to help people, to help men surrounding money mindset and really money consciousness. Because once you raise your money consciousness to a point where you have a good relationship with money, you find that your quality of life actually increases as well, because the quality of the relationship that you have with money is in direct relation and determines the quality of your financial relationship or your financial experience in life as well.
as you know, I've spent a lot of time in getting educated, financially educated, and working with different mentors around the place. And what you're saying there is totally what I hear over and over again. But it's not a matter of just the hearing, Michael. How do you actually take it from the hearing to actually taking action? What are you offering there to actually get people to get out of their comfort zone and understand the words of what you're saying, but now take action?
So one of the reasons why people struggle with money is, as I said before, it's about their mindset and the relationship they have with money. So the objective of this course is essentially it's a 12-week course and it's fully mentored in a group environment as well. So people get access to me weekly, and we do this in conjunction with a very famous book that's quite old, written by Bob Proctor, called Born Rich, and that teaches a lot of the money mindsets that successful people have, and that people with a lot of money and people just that are wealthy have had over the years. Because this book was written decades ago, so the knowledge is quite and it's come from knowledge that was quite ancient in terms of modern thinking, and so this stuff has been around for a time. It's just that we're not taught this stuff in school and just in life in general. So we go out there with all these subconscious beliefs about money that are quite unhealthy for most people, and then people wonder why they struggle. So I guess in answer to your question, what this really is, it's about raising our money consciousness to a point where we're not focused on money as an objective, but really raising our consciousness to a point when it comes to money where we activate something in our mind, in our brains, called our reticular activated system. And for those of you who don't know what the reticular activated system is, I can give you an example. So when you're about to buy a new car and you choose the brand and the model of that car that you want, and then you start thinking about it, then when you go out there in the normal world, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, and the colour that you want too.
Red car syndrome.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So what's interesting about this is those cars have always been there. But what our reticular activated system does is, because there's this influx of information that we get on a daily basis, our conscious minds can only process so much. So that particular function of that particular part of our brain is like a filter, and it's responsible for filtering the input and only bringing to our conscious awareness the stuff that's important to us. And the stuff that's important to us is what we focus on and where we place our intention. So, of course, as soon as you choose the car that you want, that's what you're focused on. And then, of course, you see that everywhere. And the same principle applies to anything in life, whether it's money, relationships, career, just whatever it is, anything that you want to achieve. As soon as you set your attention and focus, that triggers your reticular activated system, and then that kicks into high gear, and then all of a sudden you become more aware of more opportunities. Now, these opportunities were always out there, but you were never really aware of them because you hadn't done the right work to actually trigger that part of your brain to then recognize those opportunities that were there. So this is what this course does. It really takes people through a step-by-step journey for 12 weeks, fully, as I said, fully coached and mentored by me. And it helps them to get to a point where their intention is very set and their purpose is very intentional. And that triggers your reticular activated system, which then in turn opens you up to more opportunities to make more money. In this case, this is what this is about. It's about raising your money consciousness. It's about having a good relationship with money and developing a really healthy relationship surrounding money, because a lot of people don't have a healthy relationship surrounding money, and this is why they struggle, and this is why they suffer, and this is why they find that they find it difficult to get money in, and then when they get the money in, it goes out straight away. So changing your relationship around money can really transform the trajectory of your life. It's not about, it's really not about money making you happy, but money gives you, when you have money, it gives you a lot more options and a lot more opportunities in life too.
Okay, so options. Now, when is this training course starting?
So it starts on the 15th of November for 12 weeks, and we have a bit of a break over Christmas. So we sort of stop at the halfway point through the course, which is the 20th of December. And then we pick it up again on the 15th of January when everybody comes back from holidays and we're kind of kicking back into gear and going back to work and all of that. So it's a good break to have because we get to that middle point, and it's good to just take on some of those principles and really embody some of the learnings as well that you've learned in the first half of the course, maybe reread some of the material, and really start to solidify that into your conscious and subconscious mind so that when we come back in the new year, we're not really starting fresh and we're picking up from where we left off, but those principles are solidified.
So,
which is really
what I'm getting here is we're starting it before Christmas, we're having a break at Christmas and going on afterwards. So you could actually save money by doing this course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who saves money at Christmas?
Yeah, that's exactly what. Well, you could save money in the first few weeks before Christmas, develop a better mindset surrounding money, so that you can, make your Christmas and New Year and holidays even better than maybe what it is looking like.
Well, that's what I'm getting out of it, that's for sure. So that sounds terrific. Okay, well, I'm going to have some details down below or at the end of this video. So it'll be great, 15th of November, book in. How many people are you taking, Michael?
I'm going to bring only 15 or 20 guys on this journey because I want to make sure that it's more of an intimate group if I can, because I want to give everybody as much personalized attention as I can. And in addition to this, so part of this offering is that they actually get, each person that joins actually gets a one-on-one coaching session with me, totally separate from the group. So I've got to be mindful as well of how many people I bring in because I can't do 50 individual 1 hour coaching sessions.
No, that's excellent. Okay, fantastic. So they want to get in fast as well then.
Absolutely. Out of the places that are available, about half of them are already sold. So I'd encourage people to jump on. And look, I'll tell you what I'll do. Because we're doing this and we're on this call, I'll say that if people private message me personally, then I will be able to give them a code to get a discount on the courses.
Well, I'm going to be the first one to grab that code then and grab the private message. So
you'll have to private message me.
We'll do that. Okay, terrific. Thanks very much, Michael. Look forward to hearing some results. We will get an update on this at a later date, will we?
We can do that if you like. Definitely, maybe just before Christmas, we'll get a bit of an update on where everybody is. And
sounds terrific. Excellent. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Absolutely, Michael. You're only a local boy, 2 suburbs away from me too.
Exactly.
Nice.
And here we are doing this over Zoom. We should catch up for a coffee.
We should.